Hi, I'm Harold Bell, and this is the Legends of Inside Sports and the Way We Work. Well, I got a very special young man here as my guest during Black History Month. He is he's a native from this area, Clinton, right here, right here near the nation's capital. He went to Wise High School where he was all Met and on Redskin Pigskin, first team all Met. He played linebacker at Wise. They were state champions in 2012. From there, he went to West Virginia, Shepherd College in West Virginia, where he played linebacker. Outstanding linebacker at Shepherd. And Myles, tell us about Shepherd and what was your major? What was your major at Shepherd? You know, we could talk football all day, but tell us about your future. What was your major in case this professional football thing doesn't work out?
Right. So I chose Shepherd coming out of high school. I felt like, that was just the best overall option for me, as far as other universities that were interested. So I went to Shepherd fall 2013 where I picked up a major of sports communication. So, I've always liked sports broadcasting, things like that, sports marketing. So I feel like that was the route I wanted to go.
All right, all right. Now tell us about your athletic career at Shepherd. 4 years. Okay, tell us about Shepherd and the kind of team that they had before you got there, and what were they like when you finally got out of there?
So Shepherd already had a great tradition of winning. Our head coach, who actually just retired, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, he was actually the most winning coach in all of NCAA football. That's Division 1, 2, 3, all of that. So he actually had the most wins out of any coach in NCAA. So that speaks for the program itself. So you know that they're winning, they're competing for championships. So they already had a pretty established tradition there of winning and excellence on the field in the classroom. So I felt like that was the best option for me. So I went to Shepherd 2013 after I graduated from Wise, and I redshirted my first year in college. I actually got to sit back and kind of, watch everything and learn the ropes of college football. And I also got to study a player who is in the NFL right now. His name is Howard Jones. He plays linebacker for the Bears. So I got to work with him, and I feel like working with him helped my game elevate. I came in 2014 as a redshirt freshman, and I led my team in sacks. My sophomore season, we went to the national championship in Missouri, in Kansas City, Missouri, and we lost to Northwest Missouri State on ESPN2. But it was still a great experience playing in the national championship. I'm truly blessed to have that experience. My junior season, we did great. We made it back to the Final Four. We fell short in the Final Four game to North Alabama. But I had a great year that year. I had All-American accolades. I led my team in sacks again. I had 13 and a half sacks. And my senior year, we finished 10-1. We lost in the first round of the playoffs, but I had another great All-American season. 13 sacks again.
Wow, man, that is that. Well, you went to a winning tradition, so you had to earn your way. There's no doubt about that. You were redshirted your first year, and then the next 3 years, man, you rolled.
I did.
You rolled, man. You rolled. So now, sports communication being might lead you to broadcasting. Since I've been around a little bit, there's nothing like being on screen, but really decisions are made behind the scenes, and that's what you want to be. You want to be a part of the decision making sports communications, because a lot of blacks don't realize. Like, everybody want to see where everybody want to be on television, on ESPN and all, but really the decisions to be made are behind the scene. And one thing I want you to think about too is establishing your own advertising market, your own talent agency, setting up your own thing. Like this technology today, Myles, you can be your own man.
Right.
You understand?
Absolutely.
When you work for somebody, they make the decisions for you. You want to be in a position where you make the decisions for yourself.
Right.
And see, this is what we're doing here, man. This is real simple, but you can carry it to the next level. This is really simple what I'm doing here. So your future is bright. Now, what does it look like as far as the NFL is concerned? What's happening?
So I had an All-American year my junior season, and after my junior season, that's when I started pulling some interest in the NFL. I had my junior day, and there were two NFL teams that were there. They made us do a test, do some background checks on us. Got our height and weight, did that physical type of stuff, and then we ran a 40 for them. So I got some good feedback from them, and throughout the season, my senior season, that's when a lot of the NFL scouts have started pouring in. I think I saw at least two scouts a week, that came by the campus, watched us practice, watched our film with the coaches, and they all left good feedback with my defensive line coach. So the interest is there, and right now I'm just training for my pro day coming up.
Right. There's a lot of give back going on in pro sports now, community wise, and I think it's very important that young folks like yourself, man, especially you can see what's going on around you, that that is needed. Folks look up to you, and I think they're going to be looking up to you, whether you make the NFL or not, because you are a positive young man. You're going to attract young people because you're very articulate. You kind of know where you want to go. You kind of know what you want to do. So this pro football thing could end any time, especially with injury. We don't want anybody to get injured. I always say at the beginning of the year when they start picking teams to win the title in NBA, Major League Baseball, or NFL, I say it depends on if they stay healthy.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's the key to the whole thing. Myles, of course, on Valentine's Day, we had another tragic shooting at Parkland High School in Florida. 17 people were killed. An assistant football coach died in that gunfire, stepping in front of the gunman who was trying to take down two of the students. And this type of thing has been, you know, I was sad to hear a journalist say that this has become the new norm. That this has become the new norm, and that's a sad commentary for America. That our young people are not safe to go to school. School used to be one of the safest places to go, man. Already this year, Myles, we've had 18 shootings in schools, man, around the country. And February is not even over yet. Yeah. So I think what's going to happen, have to happen, if leadership on the Hill and at the White House don't take charge, man, our young people are in trouble. We got right now, Myles, since Columbine, we had 150,000 young folks exposed to gunfire. That's something that's going to carry with them for the rest of their lives. Well, how do you see what's happening in our schools, and what does the future look like?
So like you said, that's extremely sad for that to be called the norm, where schools are getting shot at and it's not even safe for children to go to school. And I mean that's terrible, to be honest with you. I mean, no parent should ever, kiss their child, before they go to school and then get a phone call saying that their child was shot at school, their child was killed at school for any reason. That's just completely unacceptable. And like you said, I think that, Capitol Hill is going to have to do something to step this up. I don't know, provide more security at the schools, at least, I don't know, something that they're going to have to do to step it up, because it's 100% unacceptable.
Yeah. One of the things they're saying, too, that a lot of these shootings, the young folks that are doing the shooting are mentally unbalanced, and they need to be able to find a way to detect that these young folks have mental health issues. But one of the things, Myles, that we have to understand, that young folks, fella or girl, comes from a home, man, that evidently something was wrong there. Because evidently, as you know, once you get to school, that's the place to learn.
Right.
But going into that environment, you have to have a feel good about yourself, And that's one thing about athletics, especially with me. I came up in a pretty difficult time in Northeast Washington, but I always had confidence in myself because of athletics. And I think that's what a lot of young folks lack. They don't feel good about themselves. And if you don't feel good about yourself, that means you're not going to feel good about the people around you. Whether it's bullying, whether it's player hating, you name it. You got people in these schools, man, who are being bullied, and you don't know what that type of mentality and what they're thinking about. And with this young man that just recently, who they caught and locked up. He's locked up now. They they say this guy was putting up stuff on Facebook. I want to be a professional high school killer.
Wow.
This was on Facebook. Plus, Myles, he was caught coming into the school with his backpack with ammunition in there. They were forewarned, Myles. And so when I look at that, I say somebody dropped the ball with the FBI because somebody reported this guy to the FBI after they saw this message on Facebook. And the FBI were not able to track him down. So it's a lot of responsibility, but we as adults got to make sure that our young people are being taken care of. What you think?
I absolutely think that, and I think that everything starts at home with the parenting. Um, you mentioned, the bullying and everything, and how that's really shifted this generation in the wrong way. But if you look at it, maybe something's going at home with that bully, where they're not getting the attention that they need, or the confidence being put in them that they need at home, and they take that anger out on people at the school, which leads to further things down the road. So I really think that it all starts with the parenting at home, caring for your children and just really being there and uplifting them. And I think that, once they have that confidence in them, then, they won't feel like they have to pick on other people for certain things when you're confident in who you are.
Right. Well, one of the things too, Myles, a lot of school personnel, their hands are tied when it comes to discipline. The child today, you can't put your hands on, you can't touch him. Maybe they're taking God, religion out of the school. That is big time, man. So actually, a lot is going on, and I really think that the politics. They say, well, how politics and sports don't mix. Hey, look, this is all a part of the environment that we live in.
Right.
And I remember when I first started inside sports in 1970, you weren't even born. That people say, man, how can you be talking about politics and sports on a sports show? I said, because I come from an environment that I grew up where they both mix.
Right.
You understand? And so I was the first one to be heard on the air talking about what's going on Capitol Hill, what's going on with the city council, because it affects the community, And I think that I'm a better man for the environment that I came out with Northeast Housing Project, that got an opportunity to go to college, to play football, basketball, baseball, whatever, but because that was my way out,
right.
and I understood that. And that is what is happening. You know what, Myles, I see today in the NFL?
What's that?
I see one of the things that you no longer hear anymore, and it may be a part of the problem why we're having so many problems. That when a guy scores a touchdown or make a big play, you say, "Hi, Mom." You don't hear that anymore.
No, I
don't hear that anymore. Now everybody's got the dance move, choreography, the dance move, and they kind of forget about who helped them get to where they are.
Right.
Mom and a great teacher and a great coach.
Right. Yeah, and that's one thing I was actually talking to my trainer about that earlier. Not about the dancing, but we were talking about some people that claim that they're self-made. Nobody's really self-made.
That's right.
I mean, when you claim to be self-made, you're kind of disrespecting everybody who's helped you along the way. And there are so many people who personally helped me, get to where I'm at. Way back to before I even got to high school.
Right.
Coaches from my youth league football teams and basketball teams, checking in on me, supporting me, being a mentor in ways like that, and my family, all the support that they brought in through the years. And, support takes you such a long way.
Yeah.
And yeah, that support, it really does take you a long way. And with that confidence, you feel like you can do anything.
Right. Who was your favorite pro team growing up?
So I like the Colts, but my dad was a Redskins season ticket holder, so I was kind of split between the Colts and the Redskins because after church, my dad would always take me to the games.
Oh, so, okay, yeah. Okay. So, who were some of the great Redskin players that you witnessed during that time when your dad was taking you to the game?
Was there? I've seen Sean Taylor. I've seen Clint Portis, LeVar Arrington. Got to see London Fletcher, Ryan Arakpo when he was there. You know, I got to witness all the many quarterbacks that went through as I was growing up. So I've seen a good mix.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the Super Bowl? And of course, that was a great upset. The Eagles beating the New England Patriots, because you know they went in underdogs, but hey man, they came out on top. Who was your pick?
Even though kind of grew up a Redskins fan, I was personally rooting for the Eagles because I have two teammates from Shepherd University who were assigned with the Eagles practice squad. Billy Brown and Trey Sullivan. Billy's a tight end. Trey is a free safety. They both played with me at Shepherd, so I was rooting for my teammates.
Of course, man. That was a great game, and I was glad to see that the officiating didn't get involved.
Absolutely.
And let the guys play, man. So it turned out to be a great game. Tom Brady had what they all wanted, the ball with the game on the line. And, of course, they couldn't do anything but tie it up and go into overtime. But it went down to the last second. That's what made it so great, you know. But, yeah, I take my hat off to the Eagles, man, because, you know, like we all say, we talk about us trying to stay healthy.
Right.
Trying to do it. And the Eagles lost their first-string quarterback early, man.
Yeah, they did.
You know, and nobody gave them a chance. And, hey, man, they got together and they pulled together. And really, I think they personify what teamwork is all about.
Absolutely.
You know, because, you know, it's always, you know, they say winning cures everything. You know, everybody's happy. Well, in order to be a winner, you must think team first.
Absolutely.
And I think that's exactly. I think Peterson, the coach, did a great job with those guys. You didn't hear any negative stuff coming out of camp the whole time, and they just bear down, man. So now, as we look forward to where you're going, and right now you're trying to get yourself in the top condition that you need to be in to go into camp. Tell me how that's been going for you.
So training has been going great. I've been, like you said, I've been doing a lot of conditioning, getting my cardio right, getting my speed right. So, you know, the pretty much the ability that would help me perform the best that I can. And, you know, weightlifting just about every other day. You know, getting my body to the peak that it needs to be at. So everything's going great as well as my diet. So, you know, showing me better ways to eat because, you know, at college we didn't really have, you know, much of a meal plan provided for us, but it was kind of just eat whatever is in the cafeteria that they're serving. So, you know, the trainers I'm working out with, you know, got me on a great meal plan and, you know, really showing me some healthier options to put on some better weight.
You know, this is Black History Month. And as you have looked around in the room and you can kind of see back here, these are some of my heroes. Jackie Robinson, of course, paved the way for a lot of black athletes. He kicked the doors down in Major League Baseball in 1947. And the sacrifices that he made, man, you know, was phenomenal, you know, and he never really got his just due. Because just think, one black player in Major League Baseball in 1947, and he had to be cool, you know. And the Dodger owner told him, say, look, no matter what they do to you, Jackie, we need you to be cool. We don't need you to fight back. And this man was a fighter, and probably one of the greatest all-around athletes. He played everything: football, basketball, baseball in college. And they say that when the Dodgers drafted Jackie, that he wasn't the best baseball player, black player going, you know. But they thought that he had the potential and temperament because he was a college-educated guy, you know. So that's why Branch Rickey chose him. And of course, over in the center, you see my man, the greatest Muhammad Ali. I know you heard a lot about him. fantastic individual that sacrificed and reached back to his people. And he loved everybody. It didn't make no difference what color.
Right.
He loved the young people, and he made a lot of sacrifices, man. And that's why I'm so proud, man, that when people start talking about how great this one is, that they don't come any greater than him. Because I tell them, when you've gone to the mountain and sit on the mountaintop with Muhammad Ali, hey, man, that's the best that it could be. And we were talking about, of course, this is Paul Robeson here, one of the great black athletes, actors, singers, vocalists. He could do it all. And he suffered back in the day when he came along. He came out of Rutgers, man. He was all American.
Wow.
And court held because he stood up to be a man, And they blackballed him. He had to end up going over in Europe to live, to sacrifice. Came back and they had him on the hill, called him a communist. So he went through a lot, man. And but these are the kind of guys. Now the guy down here, that's my brother, Earl, who was. We all thought that he was going to end up in jail. He was a little young thug, but got his life together and went into the service where he became a military policeman, heavyweight boxing champion in Germany, and then he came home to be a sergeant on the Metropolitan Police Department, where he court held again because of the thin blue line, the code of silence. Those are the things that came to light last year with Colin Kaepernick. It was too many young black men, some of your age, that were being shot down in the streets unarmed for no reason whatsoever. And so Colin Kaepernick decided that he was going to take a knee along with Eric Reed, that he wanted to bring some attention to what was going on. It had nothing to do with disrespecting the flag. It had nothing to do with disrespecting military people. But the media was able to change the narrative along with NFL coaches and fans that they were disrespecting the flag. So these are the type of things that you got to be aware of as you move forward. Colin Kaepernick is out of a job now, because he decided to take a stand. And now we're talking about Malcolm Jenkins and Irv Reed. The owners tried to offer them $89 million, to stop the demonstrations. And of course, the players couldn't really grasp what was going on because they didn't sit down to talk to each other face to face. You understand? So those are the kind of things that you got to be aware of going on around you. It's great that you got your uncle and your dad who know how the game is being played out there and can kind of guide you through, because a lot of these black athletes, they get in position and make all this money, Myles, and don't have a clue to what to do with it or how to handle it. And a lot of them get taken. Like, for example, you just mentioned Clint Portis. Clint Portis lost over $43 million, man, because his money was mishandled. So those are a lot of things when we started to talk about exactly where you're going and what to expect, because the most important game being played, and I learned this the hard way. I'm glad that I had a high school coach that Coach Dave Brown at Spingarn High School, because my middle school principal told my mom after the third visit that she didn't have to worry about me because I wasn't going to live to get out of high school. And I was going to hell in a hurry because I wouldn't listen, And I think everybody said, "Well, that wasn't too cool of him to say that." But what it really did, he inspired me. You understand? I said, "Man, I got to do better than this." And by me living to get to high school, I ran into a coach, that took me under his wing, because I got kicked off the basketball team. I was first string. Got kicked off the baseball team. I was first string, because I thought I was the straw that stirred the drink. And I really found out the hard way, there's no I in team. You understand? And I learned it. I learned the hard way. And as I was getting ready to get kicked off the football team, one of my teammates stepped forward to say, "Hey, Harold, you better back up, man. This is your last chance. And Coach Brown took me under his wing, and I ended up getting the opportunity to go out to Fairmont Heights to finish because, like I said, I was in trouble with my grades and everything, and my mother had been put in a mental institution because she had a nervous breakdown. So much stress trying to raise four boys, well, three really. My grandmother raised my older brother, but I had some backup out there with my teachers and my coaches. You understand?
Right.
See, my heroes were not black athletes. My grandmother couldn't shoot a jump shot from behind the foul line. She couldn't kick a football 60 yards or hit a baseball out of the stadium. But she was a superstar in the game called life, her and my mother, because I didn't, no father was there, deadbeat dad, but they taught us how to be men, how to have some integrity and be honest, tell the truth, and that's what I base my life on, man. Even though it's been difficult, but you got to stop. And the main thing is whatever you do, be consistent about what you're doing.
Absolutely.
That's the key. And I think that you're on the right road. Like I said, you got your uncle Charles and your dad there to guide the way. And it's good to have some balance, man. Somebody that you can turn to because they're going to be difficult times. Make no mistake about it. And you can always say, well, I can pick up the telephone or I can go home and sit down and get the right direction. Just in case you get turned off or turned around a little bit, you got somebody there to take you to where you really need to be.
Right.
Well, man, as always, when you're having fun, you run out of time. And I want to give you the next couple of minutes to think about exactly where you are and where you're going and what you plan on doing after you get there.
So right now, where I'm at is, training for my pro day. Pro day's at the end of March. Praying all goes well, and I know it will go well because I'm working my butt off. So pretty much seeing where I land as far as a draft or, signing with the team after the draft doesn't really matter. I mean, I just know I'm going to get my shot some kind of way. From there, I'm just going to work. And, I'm really praying on, what my mission will be, outside of football, because like you said earlier, football just gives you a platform to do something higher than yourself. So I really think that I'm going to do something as far as, ministry and the gospel or even, working with the youth in some kind of way, because, I think that the youth needs a lot of attention right now. So I feel like I can connect well with the youth, and maybe I can do that through the gospel. So that's something I'm really planning on, but I'm praying, that God just reveals to me the bigger picture of what exactly I'm going to do with that.
Yeah. I think that's great, man. That's great. I think you're definitely heading in the right direction. And man, I know I've been truly blessed. I breathe as a God because no one could have gotten me through some of the things that I've been through.
Right.
And one thing you got to realize, when you say you're going out there and you want to work with young people, you got to realize, man, that when you help other people, you help yourself.
Right.
That's the key to the whole thing. And people always ask me, Harold, why are you always doing things for other people? I got a selfish reason why I do things for other people. Because it helps me. You understand? It helps me. And that's what keeps me going, man. And I think, man, I thank my grandmother, my mother, and my aunts. And I thank my wife, Hattie. We be married 50 years in November. And I owe a lot to her, man, because it ain't been easy, man. It ain't been easy. So you got to be very careful about the partner that you choose because that's somebody that you want to always have your back.
Right.
And I want to thank you, man, for this great conversation, man. You're a brother that I think has a great future, whether it's on the football field or in the game called life. Okay, that's going to be it for the Legends of Inside Sports and the way we were. And I want to thank my man here, Myles Humphrey, and wishing him nothing but the best. And remember, every black face you see is not your brother, and every white face is not your enemy. See you next time.